Hello, Internet. How are
Oh,
you all doing
we're live!
today?
Oh, no!
I am your host, SneakyDevil, and this is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9002. Now, you'll have to tell me if you see any odd instances in the stream today, because my computer is acting a little funky. So, let us continue on with our regularly scheduled program, though. And this Friday is going to be the Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer feature stream.
Oh, God, why are we actually doing this?
I am so happy I won't be here for that.
So to make up for that, we're gonna get some real good shit here.
What? No, why? I demand to know why. Let the record show that I have not been given a satisfactory answer.
No, I actually don't know why. I actually don't think there's a good reason for it. I think I blame the chat. I blame the chat for being like, you should totally do it now that he actually saw your guys. Well,
No, Sneaky. He saw Sneaky's diatribe. Let's
well,
be clear.
no, he didn't even. He didn't even watch any of our stuff. He just all he.
I'm pretty
he
sure
didn't watch
Sneaky's
any of the
comments count
episodes.
as a diatribe.
Diatribe?
Diatribe? Diatribe? Diatribe.
Sure, it's tribe. Someone go look up pronunciation, but
Isley, get on that.
he didn't
I did
actually
not hear
read
no
any
one.
of the stories that Sneaky posted.
No,
he only looked at the reviews.
Not only that, yeah. He even said so himself. I didn't look at any of the stories you posted. I just looked at the reviews, and I don't like it because of the reviews. Which is funny.
Like, listen,
it's actually really funny.
Have we
though.
insulted and critiqued Fairy Tale Dragon stories? Yes, but barring I think 2 of them, which
That
we
was
did not critique.
super early on, honestly.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I'll occasionally bring his name up. And no, and the episode he actually did comment in, we actually did feature one of his stories. We never actually read it. We just sat there and said how much we hate Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, not even that. It was you and actually it was
Zarlan.
mostly you.
It was me and Zarlan, yeah.
Yeah, like
I don't even know if I was there.
I think that was just Sneaky and Zarlan,
It
like
was the,
after hours. Was it that after hours?
It was pretty late in the stream. It was the Goblin Slayer Naruto fic, where Naruto basically takes the place of Goblin Slayer and does everything
No, I'm
Goblin Slayer
sure we have covered other Fairy Tale Dragon stories.
Oh no, we have.
Okay.
We have. I'm just saying the one episode he was commenting on is that episode.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but like I was gonna say, like all the ones we have actually legitimately critiqued, we have read the first chapter.
Oh yeah.
Which
yeah.
is at least more than he's done.
We regret reading the first chapter usually, but we did it.
Okay, but that's true of 90% of the garbage on this show.
Well, yes, except for the whole fact where Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer's first chapters tend to include Naruto's dick shrinking and turning into a vagina, or him becoming a hermaphrodite, or him, becoming a hermaphrodite and growing boobs, or him fusing his soul with his mother, becoming a hermaphrodite and growing boobs, and ending up in the Rubyverse. That was the story we covered.
I either wasn't there. I'm massively repressing that.
It's possible you're repressing that memory. I wish I could. But as I was saying, it's funny that he hates my story based on the reviews, because all of like a good portion of the reviews are complaining about how much cucking there is in the story, and he loves cucking. He's written entire stories about that. So I don't know why he hates my story then, based on the reviews.
For crying out loud.
I mean, I'm just saying, man, if you write several stories based on the premise of cucking, and you go and read someone else's story reviews, and it's complaining about how much cucking there is in that story, and then you go, I hate this story because of how much cucking there is, it's a little bit ironic.
Anyway.
Yeah, maybe we should just move on.
Yeah, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to this self-insert Warhammer 40k fic that I liked.
Oh boy.
I mean, here's the thing. Assuming you're actually a fan of 40k, 40k self-inserts are one of my least hated self-inserts because even if you are a massively powerful psyker, it is still 40k. You can try as hard as you like to effect a positive change. You will not succeed.
Yeah, except, get ready for this.
Unless you're an Ultra Smurf.
Get ready
They're
for
the
this.
only ones allowed to effect positive change.
Get ready for this. Reborn into another world as the God Emperor's daughter. An otaku is summoned and trained by the Emperor himself to save the universe from the gods of chaos and every other threat. She attempts to do so by changing the Imperium for the better. Can she do it, or will humanity tear itself apart before the Xenos and heretics even get to them? Overpowered original character, future multi-crossover, will change rating to M in the future. So,
Alright, ignoring the fact that the Emperor didn't want to have children with anyone.
yes, ignoring that fact. So, one little tidbit.
Ignoring the fact that the Emperor is in fact the worst father in the Imperium.
Yes. One little tidbit is I hate these moral crusaders that rage against the Imperium. And it's just like, are you retarded? Are you legitimately mentally challenged? Because the Imperium working the way it does is probably the only thing keeping it going.
No,
Like-
no one's here to say that the Imperium is
Parody.
good.
Yeah, no one's defending the Imperium as a good institution.
The Imperium is a terrible, terrible place.
It's just the rampant human rights violations and war crimes committed on their own citizens is possibly the only thing, also religious zealotry, because you actually need that when your leader, who is protecting you from chaos just raping your entire species,
And the galaxy at
relies
large.
on your faith.
Well, no, he doesn't actually rely on their faith.
But he gets power from their faith.
That's questionable. The only thing he actually needs is those 100 psychers a day. Or is it 1,000? Whatever.
Yeah, but
Like-
people actively believing in him shield them from chaos.
Yeah, but that's not powering the Emperor, though. That's the Emperor powering. It's weird,
But still,
but it's the Emperor powering them.
it's literally the only thing preventing the mass rape of their species.
Can we just say extinction? That's gonna get us less flags, Sneaky.
Yes, fair enough. It's
Thank
hundreds
you.
of psychers per day. I thought it was 1,000.
I've heard both.
But anyway, point being is that trying to change the Imperium for the better and, like, get rid of slavery and get rid of mistreatment of the mutants and crap. That would literally break the system and cause the Imperium to crumble.
Like, now, to be fair, there's a very big counterpoint to that, Sneaky,
What?
and that's Ultramar.
Okay, well, anything with the word Ultra in it cannot be used as an example in 40k.
No. Even before, what's-his-face showed up and started blowing the Ultramarines 24/7 in every piece of fluff, they were like, Ultramar is the one place with actual human rights in the Imperium.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you guys. Sneaky Discord's saying that you're playing Sekiro for some reason, and the cartons are still up on stream.
Well, that's because we haven't gotten into the story, but yeah. I don't know why it's saying I'm playing Sekiro. That's...
Well...
No, it's not telling me I'm playing Sekiro.
Your computer... Discord is convinced that you're playing Sekiro right now. You have been playing Sekiro for the last 12 minutes.
Maybe for you it says that, but for me it says streaming Fanfiction Contempt Theater.
Nah, Orange reporting that as well.
Mine says Fanfiction.
Yeah, no, literally, it's you guys.
Oh, wait, nope. Discord has ticked over. Now he's not streaming.
Excellent.
He's still perfectly fine on Twitch.
What?
I think Discord might be having some issues.
Sekiro's been closed for several hours now.
Are you certain about that?
Like, it's not even on the process list.
Is it running in details? Like,
No.
check the details tab?
The process list, Max. Not programs list. Process list. The list of every single process running on the computer. Not on there.
No, the details list shows things that don't show up on processes. You're on Windows 10, aren't you?
No.
Or am I crazy?
You're fucking
No,
insane.
he's still on 7.
I'm on 7.
Oh, by the way, what are you going to do if the final update
Nothing.
to Windows 7 just breaks your computer in 2020?
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Like, I'm legit worried for anyone's that...
I don't need to restart
lucky
Discord. I already restarted Discord back when I updated. Maybe you're the one that needs to restart Discord, so...
Anyway, it's not important.
Eat my shorts. I got fanfiction.
Also says Sekiro.
I don't know. You know what? I am just the god of breaking technology, and we're gonna leave it at that. All bow down.
Did we ever find the time you got text to display sideways?
Actually, I did. And I sent it to myself. Here we go. Image uploaded. No, cancel. I just want you to upload. Open this goddamn picture. There. There's a picture of me somehow getting the text.
How do you manage this shit, Sneaky?
I am so good at this. I am best programmer.
But yeah, so Sneaky, like I said, to be fair, Ultramar, even before the fluff started getting heavy-handed, was still a place where people had human rights.
Oh wow, that's a single world out of literally
No. The
thousands.
Ultramar region.
Oh,
The
really?
region controlled by the Ultramarines.
Well, still, that's a small area out of a really fucking large.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying. It's also regarded as one of the most prosperous sectors. Probably because people have actual human rights.
Well, of course. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, you know.
I'm just saying, it can be done, and that's what Papa Smurf is going to try to do. Now, whether or not he succeeds at large, I don't know.
Okay, well, when you have the Ultramarines behind you, I'm gonna buy it. It's just in this scenario, with a self-insert, who's gonna change the Imperium for the better.
Well, here's the thing.
I just,
Depending on when they are, it's a lot easier because it's a lot easier to stop a ball from rolling downhill than it is to let it roll all the way down to the bottom of the hill, coat it in blood and grease, and then roll it back up the hill by yourself.
Hey, Calvin, we're not going to be singing you too much in the future, are we?
While getting stabbed in the ankles by filthy Xenos.
Indeed. Mal has never done anything to really piss anyone off, nor had she ever been very misfortunate. So why? Why had she been run over by a speeding truck whose driver completely ignored the red light? Just what had she done to deserve
Why is
that?
it always truck driver? Why is it never the wine drunk mom in a Suburban, which is what it usually is?
I don't know, man.
Well, okay. I don't know why. Japan is obsessed with trucks for some reason, but here in the States, that would be more likely Atin.
Yeah.
Sneaky. That's why you haven't been to Isekai yet. You're in Vermont. There are no wine drunk mothers because it's a college town.
I mean, there's like no one on the streets in general, so.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you're not going to get isekai'd by Truck-kun here.
Well, that's
Truck-kun. You've got to find the wine drunk mom to hit you with her car.
Indeed. Yes!
And then she'll go, oh god, it wasn't my fault, it's just my kid was so terrible,
no,
and I was a little
you
tipsy.
see, it's Truck-kun that has the special isekaiing powers. That's why no other story ever starts with anyone else getting hit by drunk drivers or etc. It's specifically the trucks.
Okay, but what if the truck was drunk?
That would be something that would have to be experimented with.
I see. We're going to transmute a person into a truck to get them drunk and run someone over.
Exactly. We'll start a Kickstarter for it. Yes, she had never done community service in her life. Yes, she never paid any attention to those homeless people on the streets who were in need of her money. But this,
I mean, listen, if you live in Chicago, I got news for you. They do not need your money.
No. But this shouldn't have been enough to make her karma to send a speeding truck at her, right? Fate couldn't be that cruel, right? Could you use commas? Maybe that's why your karma's so bad. Suddenly commas. Unfortunately, it was comma. And the worst part of it was that she wouldn't be missed. Her grumpy landlady, who visited her only with the intent to acquire payments, would ignore her death at best, and although she would probably be rather glad that without the financially challenged youth who always paid her rent late. See, that's something, that is honestly something I do not understand.
What landlord knocks on a door? Landlords just send angry letters.
Paying the rent late. I mean, how are you balancing your finances that you can't manage your rent? And I say this honestly as a person who's been unemployed for most of my life.
I had to pay. Sneaky, you need to include the important
I still had to pay rent.
And had to pay rent.
I still managed to get the money to pay rent.
You see, it comes from his successful career as a gigolo.
I'm actually part of the insane clown posse.
Right, I said gigolo.
God, I would have liked to hear you.
Anyway,
Oh, damn it, Isley, get your mic on and get in here.
I was gonna say, there's always room for guests.
However,
Speaking of which, we are gonna need one of you people to turn up when Max is gone on Friday.
however,
Oh,
this was
am I
about
gonna miss
to
a new
change.
person on the podcast?
Yes, we're
Probably.
gonna replace you. We're gonna pay them less. That's how immigration.
I barely get paid.
Isley,
as
if you
is.
give us
Exactly.
an address, we will send you a new microphone just because we're tired of you complaining.
I'll do it.
China.
I've done it for Atin. I haven't done it for Sneaky because Sneaky knows how to buy technology.
No, hold on a minute, Max. Hold on a minute. It had nothing to do with me, and everything to do with wired headsets. As soon as I decided to buy a wireless one, I solved my own problem. Thank you.
Except I remember saying maybe you're better off trying wireless at some point. You just ignored me.
When did you say that?
Just back when I was first trying to help you troubleshoot the problem after sending you the second headset.
Yes. Present time,
And
location
I apologize.
unknown. Mal's eyes suddenly open, revealing dark amethyst irises, shining in surprise.
Blah, 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 blah. Nothing that matters, blah, blah,
Hey,
blah.
Max, remember
Yeah.
the person with rainbow eyes?
I never could track that story down again. I tried so hard.
No, Mal, no,
Jesus
just
Christ,
Mal.
Birdie, again?
What the hell, Birdie?
Birdie just, sits on all of her headsets or something. I don't know. Maybe she slam dunks them. Does a football dance on top of them.
Does a football. She just
Well, no, see,
spikes him in the end zone.
yeah.
Yes. Looking around her, she saw nothing, only an endless sea of light. In fact, she had no idea how she was standing right now, as the floor seemed completely transparent. Where the hell am I? These were the thoughts that passed through her mind at the time, her brain barely able to accept the existence of the area around her. Looking down, she found herself wearing the most luxurious and flamboyant clothing she had ever witnessed. These were the clothes that would probably cost multiple thousands of dollars to purchase in her world. These were the clothes wrapped around her body comfortably, soft to a ridiculous degree. It could be equated to the embrace of an angel. Mal's eyes widened in pleasant surprise as her lips curled into a satisfied
Okay, hold on.
grin.
You haven't described anything. You haven't described anything of what her clothing is. Like, you can't say this is the kind of clothing that would cost thousands of dollars, and then say that she's a cosplayer, and not give us any description of the clothing.
Well,
Like-
you see, it was clothing and it was rich stuff, so it was clearly very good clothing, and you just
Like,
have to imagine it.
what is this? Are we talking like $2,000 lolly costume? Are we talking
Yes, it's
like
it's a $5,000 Lolita costume. Nailed it. Mal's eyes widened in
Gothic
pleasant
Lolita,
surprise.
or
yes,
Yes,
the only acceptable kind if you're spending $5,000?
exactly.
Jesus Christ, I'm getting tired of Birdie breaking headphones.
How many of you fucks do we have to send headphones to?
None. This was just too good to be true. We start holding raffles. For every 20 people we get into our chat, we'll hold a raffle.
And it'll just be, which one of you fucks gets a pair of headphones now?
Yes. This was just too good to be true, wasn't it? She was never a girl who obsessed with fashion, but that didn't mean she wouldn't appreciate beautiful clothes. Oh my god, it was so beautiful clothes, they were expensive and beautiful. And she was a cosplayer after all, and so it's clearly a cosplay outfit that's beautiful and comfortable. I'm sure
Like-
you guys are just brimming with imagination of what this
I was gonna
outfit
say,
looks like.
the most expensive piece of clothing I've ever considered buying was the Final Fantasy 15 line of clothing, which I thought about for 2 seconds and then decided that until I lose a lot more weight, I won't look any good in.
Get in the lolly costume, Shinji.
Oh, attention, thank you.
That's beautiful.
Uh...
And remember, if you give us 10 grand, Max will wear a lolly costume.
Indeed.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
Yes,
He'll shove it down Atin's throat.
I will also pay 10 grand to see that.
You see, that's actually the 10 grand is to see who wins, me or Max.
Max wins.
I'm insulted. I'm insulted.
I've
You have
seen
so little
both
faith
of
in
you.
me.
I've seen both of you. Max
Okay,
wins.
if I let Max sit on me, he wins.
All I have to do is trip you, and then it's over. No, he's right. If I just trip him and sit on him, I win. That's all I have to do.
Max needs to be in a nun costume. A sexy nun costume?
Oh
No.
God, please no.
I
No.
refuse.
Oh, my brain is in so much pain right now.
Clearly, okay, so here, new stretch goal, guys. 15K, Max dresses as Kiara Sasoyan.
As what? Who?
Just say yes.
No. No. I don't agree to things I don't know what... listen, if I don't know what I'm getting into, I don't agree to it.
Just
20 grand, he dresses up as Gloomy Bear Sonico.
Just Google just Google FGO Kiara.
Max, we are trying to help you make money.
No, I don't care. My dignity is worth a lot more than that.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You say that now.
Mal would never have dreamed in her past life of wearing something so luxurious as the clothing she was now wearing.
Which we still haven't had.
Oh my God! I was joking. The outfit can only be described as Gothic Lolita.
I knew it!
Oh.
I knew it!
It was actually...
Weeb! They're a filthy weeb. Listen, Calvin, if you can get 30 grand together, I promise you, that is enough to purchase mine and Sneaky's dignity.
I will absolutely wear a sexy nun outfit for that.
No. Listen, if I'm doing that, I have to be able to pay off my debts in one go. It's gonna take more than just 10K split with you, jackass.
Oh, I thought there was 30K for each of us.
No,
Listen,
I think he's implying
unlike these
30,000 period.
I would say, listen, my dignity can be purchased far more cheaply.
Oh, okay.
Mostly because I have smaller debts.
I was joking about the Gothic Lolita, goddamn.
I wasn't!
God damn it. Giving off the appearance of the daughter of an ancient nobleman. I'm sorry. What kind of skewed, warped reality? Do you think Gothic Lolita makes you look like the daughter of a nobleman?
Sneaky, the kind who's grown up in our generation.
Yeah. Who's watched too much Japanese stuff.
No, that's not fair. Like, even the Japanese weebs are like, this isn't real. This is all nonsense.
Oh god, Jesus Christ. However, instead of the regular black, the dress was gold, and there featured decorative ribbons in dark red, and dark gold ribbon in her black hair, which flowed freely from her head, going halfway down her back.
I detect a severe lack of skulls.
Soon after the shock for her clothes passed, Mal also noticed another change that was made to her, one much more fundamental.
Tension, go see if that exists. Go see if it exists and post it in the degenerate corner.
One much more fundamental than a simple changing of clothes. In her old world, the girl was severely malnourished thanks to her uncaring attitude towards her body. To save money, she ate a meal a day, which usually consisted of cup ramen, which could be consumed quickly and efficiently. I mean...
If all you ate a day was one thing of cup ramen, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
Not malnourished, dead.
Like, don't get me wrong, I got through a decent portion of college eating cup ramen, but I, also took multivitamins every day and had multiple cups of cup ramen. Also, you can't say that saving money. Cup ramen. Look, right now, my main budget is cup ramen with an egg in it. This comes to the total cost of, are you ready for this? 17 cents a meal. I can afford to eat 5 of those a day. I don't, because I'm dumb and I constantly forget I'm supposed to eat food, but I could.
That's its own problem.
Yes.
Stupidity is separate.
Not stupidity. Mental disability.
I'm sorry. Harmful self-tendencies.
Yes, there you go. You also have the genes of an unkillable superhuman. I will debate that, but I'm not sure how.
I mean, really, if we're gonna base Space Marines off anything, it's gonna be your fucking physiology. Your lungs have been trying to kill you for how many years?
Since Max has known me.
Yes. So at least
That is not a
7,
measurement of time.
7, at
That
least
is
7.
definitely a measurement of time. I've been getting better. I've been coughing as much.
I am severely disappointed at the lack of Gothic Lolita Batman. We have Gotham by Gaslight, and that didn't inspire any weebs.
You're the template the Terminator's created after. Thanks, I guess. Found Lolita. God damn it. It exists?
It's nowhere near as obnoxious as I would hope, unfortunately.
Where is it?
Degenerate corner, because that's where I told him to put it, because I assumed that people would be freaks.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, yeah, not too bad.
Oh. That
Oh.
was the wrong thing.
Accidentally clicked another voice channel, I see.
Yeah.
Don't you just love that?
Yeah, well, that's actually not too bad. The internet has let us down. There's no sexualized Lolita Batman. You know what, tension? I'm okay with that. Anyway, so let's keep going. Super malnourished. So this led to the result of a skinny, bony body unfitting of a lady. A body that was silently,
you really don't need to look.
silently ridiculed by many
Yes,
people.
go forth, Isley. Use your talents for my amusement.
There was even a time where a child at the grocery store began crying after thinking that Mal was a walking skeleton, something her mother half-heartedly apologized for.
First of all, where do you live that people are that like, I'm from America and people ain't that rude. Usually.
Well, I mean, not even that. It's just to get that emaciated. Yeah, emaciated. To get that emaciated, you are basically incapable of moving / dying / you're a Buddhist monk.
Who are noted for their lack of movement.
Yes, that too. So I'm just saying. I know you're trying to play it up for laughs, author, but you're doing the opposite of funny. You're actually killing the humor that I managed to inject into this conversation.
I was gonna say, as Max and I learned throughout the course of writing our terrible self-insert, back off on the jokes a little, and people will like them more.
However, now, looking at her sleeved arms, Mal realized that the limbs, which used to be devoid of flesh...
Just what Atin said. Like, I've known that for a long time.
Yeah, Max, there's a difference between knowing something and knowing how to incorporate that correctly.
I've known how to incorporate that correctly as well.
Y'all
Fine,
need to
then I'll
fix
amend the
diversity
statement to
quota.
me.
How else
There.
is Twitch supposed to
Jesus.
Well, look, we can only we are open to having more people in our chat. I'm just saying we need the diversity quota filled, and we can't do that if no one joins. So, if you want to fix the diversity quota, we need a person of color who is female. Unfortunately, white German males are the opposite of diversity, and so we can't accept any onto the podcast.
At this time. There may be openings in the future.
Knowing is half the battle, indeed.
G.I. Joe.
Let's see. Mal realized that the limbs, blah blah blah, were devoid of flesh, are now covered with a generous layer of fat and muscle, not too thick nor too skinny. That's not what generous means. Feeling the rest of her body, the girl noticed the same thing. Her body was perfectly healthy, almost perfect in every way. To Mal, there were now no imperfections. Why do I have the body of a supermodel? The thought was not too inaccurate. Many girls in Mal's
the body of a supermodel would not be covered in fat and muscle.
Yeah, it's more just covered in...
In fact, you wouldn't have changed much. You'd still be a sad, emaciated, nearly dead human being.
Yeah, more or less. Many girls in Mal's old...
Come on.
No,
Come
she
on.
spelled it wrong.
Oh.
I
thought you were just having another stroke.
For a body like hers, while many boys would have killed to date someone like her. Her chest, which was usually small, was now a reasonable size. Which is? Question mark? Easily apparent, but not large enough to truly hinder anything.
Hinder anything?
Is that supposed to give us any sort of good idea about what you look like? So far, the only clear definition of what you look like so far, author,
is long black hair.
I have long black hair, and I'm in a golden Lolita outfit.
Neither of those are a good look.
Thinking back to the incident with the speeding truck and her waking up in a strange land. Strange land? You literally woke up in white. There is white. You are not in a land.
That's not a land.
You're in white. Mal suddenly realized something interesting. Oh my god, I've been isekai'd. Yare yare. Yes, it was simply too cliché. So cliché, in fact, that Mal should have realized this in an instant. She had been run over by a truck after all. That is a giant hint to isekai. A normal girl would have been confused, hysterical at this point, but for Mal, who had never truly been normal, nor wanting to go back to her old word for any reason, it wasn't anything to be panicking about. Smiling slightly, Mal thought, this could be a great opportunity. If it really is like isekai anime, then I could be reincarnated into another world and find happiness there. However, a voice behind her suddenly disrupted Mal's thoughts, leaving her wary and wide-eyed. It was a rich, powerful voice filled with strange, perhaps even warm kindness. The voice belonged to a clearly male, a middle-aged one at that. I'm sorry, but that
as we later learned, that kindness is in fact psychically induced.
Yes. Turning around, Mal sought to uncover the stranger's identity, maybe even getting some answers. However, the only scene behind her was endless white, not showing the owner of the voice. Who are you? A confused Mal asked this, not realizing that the entity had read her mind. Suddenly, the form of a man appeared just before her, his voice much louder than it was before. 1 second there was nothing, and then the next second there just was. Are you satisfied now? Instead of reassuring the weary Mal, the sight of the man left her wide-eyed again, the sheer amount of shock holding off any questions she might have had to ask. What? What are you doing here? Those were the only words that Mal could get out of the situation as she finally realized who the man before her was. Honestly, so, hypothetical scenario. You get isekai, you're sitting there and you're like, shit, I'm in a large expanse of light. This probably ain't heaven. Good news? Probably not hell. Ah, shit, I'm being isekai, aren't I? That would be my reaction.
Concerted, I'm being isekai again.
That would be my literal reaction. Is God fucking damn, I'm being isekai.
Oh no! Listen, if I get isekai and they'll be like, what would you like to bring with you to the new world? I'm dragging Max and Sneaky along. What?
I'm okay
What?
with this.
Oh, you know, I'd be fine with that because my immediate thing would be, so since we're being forced along as well, we get our own boons, right?
Atin gets us, and we get stuff.
And you guys, yeah, and you guys better make sure you get me something useful too, because I'm bringing along you two.
Calvin asks, "What's an isekai anime?" My reply: how?
Well, you see, it's this thing in 40K where someone dies on Earth, Terra, and then they wake up 40,000 years in the future as an Inquisitor, and their job is to try and fix the Imperium.
Ah, yes, of course.
Max, get on that.
I'm sorry, why is that my job?
Because
you're the one who wanted to roleplay the actually helpful Inquisitor.
Anyway, so blah 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 blah. Reasonably long black hair grew on the head of a gigantic man, easily towering over Mal. He was a literal giant, and the sheer size of that lad was able to put a fully grown grizzly bear to shame.
What? A grizzly bear? That's weak. That is weak. They are like... How many feet? They are how many feet tall? They're like what? 12? 13? Just a space marine, I mean.
I don't know. They keep changing their size.
Yeah.
An actually helpful Inquisitor, Max wants to roleplay as Amber Lee Valley. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the one who helped what's his face out.
Max, I'm sorry to say you're trading in your moobs for boobs.
We've done this bit before.
But you get to help out Caiaphas Cain, the most sensible man in the Imperium, next to Creed. Actually, no, I'd say he's more sensible than Creed because Creed never went through commissar training.
Creed? I still like that little bit of lore they included at the fall of Adia, is that Creed still somehow got away.
No, Max, Sneaky, it's not somehow. The Collector picked him up and put him in his collection.
Oh. Lovely.
Well, because you know about Trazen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trazen was, like, Cadia's getting blown to pieces around him, and Trazen popped in for like 30 seconds and looked at Creed and went, I want this in my collection, put him on the ship, and then left. So people are like, oh, so surely there's going to be part of Papa Smurf saga of getting Creed back from Trazen. And that will be when we finally get a Trazen book.
He'll be in the MCU. Yes, he'll be in the MCU. A golden halo over his head, the giant wore blindingly full-body gold armor inscribed with more decorations and symbols than she could count, beautiful and detailed statuettes of golden eagles attached to his shoulder plates. A green laurel, similar to the ones used by ancient Roman kings, sat upon his relatively large head, akin to a crown.
That's because the Emperor was a massive history buff.
Yes. All of those aspects were impactful to Mal, leaving her jaw lowered to the floor and all. Oh boy, more cartoon jaw dropping. She could literally feel the waves
Have a good night,
of energy
Calvin.
coming off the man. Right,
Calvin.
So much so, in fact, that it was visible to the naked eye in the form of defined golden waves. However, all of that paled in comparison to the realization of the man's identity, something that Mal instantly recognized with her first glance upon him. That was why she asked the question. After all, why would the God Emperor of mankind, the ruler of a million worlds, and one of the strongest characters from Warhammer 40K be talking to her right now? To him, she must have been an insignificant mortal, barely worthy of attention. She was completely ignoring the fact that the God Emperor was real, as her brain did not have time to process that right now. The Emperor simply smiled, the good-natured expression on his rigorously handsome face, bringing forth a feeling that in Mal she not recognized. In the same kind voice, he answered, "It is quite simple, my child. I am in need of your assistance." At those words, 1,000 thoughts raced through Mal's brain, none of them good. No, 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 no. What did I do? I didn't do anything in the 48K universe. If he does something like reincarnate me there, what the hell do I do? The girl's expression had twisted into one of utmost fear. Those purple orbs of her. Ah, yes, of course, the purple orbs. I forgot about the purple orbs. I forgot about the fucking purple orbs. The purple orbs of hers overflowing with emotion.
Wait, purple orbs?
Yeah, she has amethyst.
Why are we playing DMC?
She has amethyst eyes of deep purple.
Max, it's an amazing joke, and you know it.
It's a bad joke for a very good game.
It's a bad joke from a bad plot line.
The girl's expression was... Everyone knew the 40K universe was something to be admired from a distance. Even the most loyal of fans would never dream of being reborn. They're not even as a space marine. That is fair enough. You probably will die gruesomely. After all, who would want to live in a universe where everyone and everything is constantly fighting each other 24/7?
So wouldn't it an easy way to fix the whole, like, alright, you're being reborn in 40K, you get one wish, can I be the own?
Can I be the what?
Can I be the thing that everyone else is running away from?
Oh. Can I be the thing?
Whatever you're running away from, I want to be that.
I want to isekai as that.
You know the thing the nids are scared shitless of? I want to be that.
I'm bringing another person. Damn straight, Pedro. You feed more people to this fire. Also, it's kind of ironic that you're saying that who wants to live in a universe where everyone and everything is constantly fighting each other 24/7, and I just looked at 2019 in the world right now, and I'm just like... Damn. If Chaos Demons don't get you, then you'll be purged by Inquisitors for being a heretic. There was no such thing as good in 40K, only survival and war. The Emperor, realizing this, attempted to calm Mal down. This must look so very daunting to you right now, my child. Mal froze. However, I chose you for this because I know you are the only one! You are the chosen one! Who can
Yeah.
Empire.
Blah, blah, blah. The Emperor's lying again. Let's keep going.
You possess boundless potential more than you would believe. Mal's next words came in a garbled mess as she took that in, her old calmness having long dissipated. You how what? The Emperor sighed. Also, you're in a plane of light. You're super buff and healthy. You hear some voices behind you. You turn around, it's the Emperor. He tells you you're the chosen one. You go, fucking bullshit, I know how this goes.
You have been chosen, my child. Ah, nah. No, you don't. Nah. No, listen. If I was going into the 40K verse, I would look the Emperor dead in the eyes and I would say, make me the most powerful blank in existence.
Yes!
Make me such a powerful blank that Sisters of Silence die in my presence.
I will null reality.
Just fly like a tiny little beat up fighter plane into the eye of terror.
Go to eat a cheeseburger. It disintegrates. Like everything else. Oh. Mal nodded at this. I realize that in your world, my universe is not but a work of fiction, a series of books and games to your kind. You are one of the people that are somewhat familiar with the lore in the universe, which means that I will not have to explain much to you. Mal simply nodded at this. The sheer amount of fear in her systems clouding any rationality she might have had. She was something of a Warhammer 40K fan, not too well versed in the lore, but aware of most things and important events. Also, that's my favorite part, is the author is self-admitting they're not the biggest Warhammer 40K buff. But they're also having a scenario...
That's not a problem in and of itself.
I know, but they're also having the Emperor go, I know the Emperor's lying, but it's just like, You are the chosen one. Only you can save it. Also, do you know anything about this world? I will burst the sun and moons just to grab a Big Mac. Exactly, tension. And that's how the Suthner happened.
The two's the what's-its?
Suthner? Suthner?
Catan.
Catan, sorry, my
I
bad.
think it's the Catan.
Settlers of Catan?
Indeed.
I have sheep. Anyone have wood? For the love of God, I need wood. I love that game.
I swear! Look! I'll give you 40 sheep! Just help me get some wood!
There is no issue with being the biggest 40k buff. I only know a fair amount after several years at it. It's the Satan, as Atin said, yep. Anyway, so do not fear, my child. You will receive adequate training before you're released into my universe. A new location.
I don't believe him.
Blah blah blah. Training. Blah blah. Sheer
I don't believe
incomprehensible
you.
brutality. Blah 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 blah. Suppressing information. Do not worry, child. You shall not falter, as I have given you my genetic code.
Yeah, he can't. You can't just do that. Like, listen. He's incredibly powerful. He can't just ignore reality. I mean, more so than any other psych or any. Like, bolts of lightning? Can do. Make the walls bleed? Can do.
To share the same genetic code was to be a Primarch or a Grey Knight. Both were fearsome beings, but only would get you so far.
Wait, I'm sorry, a Primarch or a what?
Grey Knight.
The fuck is a Grey Knight? What did I miss?
That's a fair question. I don't know what a Grey Knight is yet.
Missed something.
Apparently.
Are a secret, mysterious loyalist chapter of Space Marines tasked with fighting the Warp and all those corrupted by the Chaos Gods. They have
So they're doing what every Space Marine's been charged with.
They have the honor of being implanted with the gene seed engineered directly by the Emperor himself. The Grey Knights act as the military arm of Chamber Militant of Ordo Malleus.
Oh, I thought you were saying Grey Knights, not the Grey Knights.
Yes.
Who gives a fuck about the Grey Knights? Fucking Corvus Corax, the edgy piece of shit.
Chapter designation 666. Jesus. Edgy.
Oh, no. Let's talk about the time that Corvus Corax went into the Warp and beat up some of the Chaos Gods. Let's not forget that.
So edgy. I'm a liberal stuck in an isekai world with only my political beliefs.
Ooh, that's not gonna go well for you.
Oh boy.
You know what? I would read the hell out of that.
That would be a very short isekai.
That's... Oof.
Isley says, not the Chaos Gods, it was Daemon Princes.
You're right. I'm sorry. Because there's such a massive difference in the Warp.
However, becoming any creature with the Empire genetic code would greatly aid Mal in Warhammer 40k universe. She acknowledged this fact even though she detested being reborn in such a place. And blah blah blah.
Okay, no, hold on a minute. You're getting reborn into 40k, like, 40k. and I can't believe I'm going to say this, actually has a hilarious amount of upward mobility.
Yes.
All you have to do is join the guard.
All you have to do is not die for an extended period of time.
Like, shit. Even... I'm trying to think. Even Inquisitors have come to recognize that not dying is a skill in 40k.
So much so that, what was that the age? The age of 80 or something, they actually start giving Imperial Guardsmen genetic treatments and cyber limbs and crap.
No, I don't think it's even... I think it's even less than 80. Like, I think you only have to get, like, 20 years service.
But, anyway.
And, like, that can vary depending on the severity of the combat. Like, you know, if it's some dude who's fought Nids, like, 4 times, they're gonna be like, give that man the finest replacement limbs.
Jesus Christ, this guy is the next coming of Creed.
Well, I mean, after they made super sure you weren't a fucking gene stealer.
Oh, well, that too, yeah. And by that, I mean they tortured you.
No, they don't have to torture you to make sure. They can literally scan. Gene stealers are actually the least horrific of the problems, because all they have to do is scan you. Does he have filthy Xenos DNA? No? Great. He's not a filthy Xenos.
Also, I would like to say that I find the fact that whenever orcs and Tyranids fight, and the Tyrannism and the orc spore mix, you actually have Tyranids and orcs on a microbial scale fighting each other.
Yeah.
Which I find absolutely hilarious.
Oh, it's great.
Oh god. Okay. Blah blah blah. Emperor fell to his own hubris. Emperor suddenly said in a mutual tone. What? Mutual tone of what? I think I just lost some brain cells. You just thought of something rude, didn't you? Oh wow, good to get that meme in there. Well done, author. Mal's eyes widened. Oh my god, that's right. You can read thoughts. Blah blah blah. There was no escape. She was gonna reborn. She best get the training. Mal was training. Blah blah blah. She was training her mind to make things. Blah blah blah. It's a house made of gold. This is my house. You're staying here. Was this really the Emperor's home?
Oh, so we're doubling down on the Jesus allegory, huh?
Why was it so small? Blah 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 blah. I always prefer small, humble things instead of flamboyant things. Press X to extremely doubt. However, I can't let my subjects know that, or they would be horribly disillusioned. That their emperor didn't like extremely intricate filigree?
I mean, no, that's blatantly untrue. You wanna know why we know that's untrue? Because the man paved a planet flat for a parade.
He did do that. That is true. Since I was the emperor, I have to show off my wealth and power so I could not be undermined.
No, it has everything to do with your ego. Everybody's like, oh, why is Lehman Russ so egotistical? He genetically inherited it from daddy. That's how.
so my power and wealth could not be undermined. Nobody's gonna try and undermine the strongest psyker in existence who is shielding them. I mean, there is some people who would try and do that, but like...
Okay, no, hold on. To be fair, people literally rebelled from the Imperium while the Emperor was alive.
Yeah, I'm saying yes, but they would have done that anyway, regardless of how much wealth and power the Emperor was throwing around.
There's the argument that no, they wouldn't have. Like,
Therefore, even if I didn't like it, I have to live in a grand palace and make everything I have shiny and flamboyant. Super pain in the neck. She just nodded along, and they're walking along, and they're walking along, and they're walking along. And the Emperor shrinks himself down into a small, normal-sized man wearing a black t-shirt and sweatpants. And
again, no, he literally wouldn't. He was way too much of an arrogant bastard.
And then Mal also had her gothic Lolita outfit turn into a shirt and sweatpants. And there is a single small light bulb hanging from the ceiling as they sat on chairs in a golden dining room. Clearly,
Good. So you
gold,
went from aggressively rich to fucking poor.
Yes. The chair she sat on was not cold, but instead radiated a strange heat. Blah blah blah. What do you mean by training? I'll train you to be the strongest psyker, swordsman, marksman, leader, and inventor ever. I'm a psyker. Yes, you're a psyker. You possess my gene seed. But you can't be my chosen hero.
No, that's actually not how that works. That's actually not how that works. Because not all the Primarchs are psykers.
Wait for it. What about the non-psyker Primarchs? The Emperor's side. They were born and raised in hostile environments, so that's why they're not psykers.
No! Blatantly untrue.
Besides, even they can't take on an orc wog or an army of Tyranids alone.
What? Yes, they can!
You expect me to do
Horus
that?
does that! Horus literally does that!
Yeah, I know.
Horus literally fights a wog by himself without... And that was before the whole Daemon Primarch thing.
All Primarchs are partially psychic, they just have it to varying degrees. Yeah, no, but they're not like, Magnus levels of Psyker.
I'm sorry, who's not Magnus levels of Psyker?
All the other Primarchs?
I mean, the ones that became Daemon Princes were.
Well, yes. But,
But that was after Daemon Prince.
Isley's point is that all of them were Psykers, but some of them just were very, low on the scale.
No, I don't think... Did Leman Russ do any Psykering?
This is accurate, she says.
I don't think Leman Russ did any Psykering.
I said very low, so I'm assuming basically almost nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Blah blah blah, I will make you a hero of the Imperium, someone who can solo armies. What makes you think I can do that? Couldn't you have chosen a soldier? Yeah, probably because a soldier would have seen through your bullshit. Heyo!
Why did you not pick Caiaphas Cain?
Char Ansible, you are the only hope to save my Imperium.
I will write that! Max, we have a new story. You want it too.
I don't. Not even Char deserves being thrown in that world.
You're right. It should be Bright.
Watch as Bright saves the 40k verse one slap at a time. That's his boon.
Bright Noah and his quest to slap every git in the Imperium.
That's his boon. He just gets slaps, doesn't matter who they are, he gets to slap them for free except for the Emperor. That's
Lemon Rust could
the
reflect into
one-off
spell psychic
limit
attacks.
person.
See his duel with Magnus on Prospero.
Oh yeah, I was just say. I mean, to be fair, there are many people in the Imperium who would benefit greatly from receiving a Bright Slap, Max.
I can believe that.
The list starts with planetary governors. No. To be fair, the list starts with Magnus. The list starts with Magnus, and ends with the Inquisition.
Alright. The Emperor stared into Mal's eyes with a completely serious and grave expression on his face. It is because I see great potential in you, my child. I believe you can succeed where my sons have failed. Please save my world before it's too late. Mal began to blush heavily. No one ever believed in her like the Emperor did. This was the first time someone ever expected something of her. I don't have a choice, do I? Nope. I spent all my energy I was saving up to bring you into my universe and imbue you with my powers and give you my genes. Moreover, my throne is degrading, and when the life support fails, chaos will reign supreme. I no longer have the power to send you back home, nor do I have the power to protect humanity for another 1,000 years. I am sorry. Oh, so this is like...
1,000 years is not enough time to fix the Imperium.
This is, well... The thing I believe what the author is trying to say is that Mal will take over on protecting the Imperium psychically.
I mean, good luck with that.
Yes. I also, it's just
Magnus is gonna have a few words about that. Along with Zinch.
Not feeling too good. Not feeling too good, Mr. Stark. I'm not feeling too good. Blah 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 blah. Oh man, I gotta do this? Question mark. Can I have a while to think about this? The Emperor just nodded. Think about what?
He literally just said you have no choice.
Yeah. You literally just said, look, I apologize for this, but you literally have no options. I literally cannot send you back. And literally I just spent all my power on summoning you. So, I mean, I guess
I already gave you the gene seed.
I guess
signed
you could,
the EULA.
you know, re-isekai yourself and die again, but it's really the only other option you have besides...
I was gonna say, but unfortunately for you, with the amount of power you possess, that is... almost impossible, because if you are as powerful a psyker as the Anathema, the daemons aren't coming anywhere within 100 miles of you.
Yes. Closing the door behind her, she entered a bedroom, and everything was made out of gold, except it wasn't gold, but it looked gold. And blah blah, she tied on top of her golden bed and her fluffy golden pillows. Do I really even have a choice in this? I gotta think about stuff. She was exhausted.
He literally just said you don't have a choice. Why are you asking these questions still, author?
Oh man, I actually don't have a choice in this. I gotta do it for survival. Wait, decent life? Since when did I ever have that? My life is disappointing and I am sad. Blah blah, I'm in the Warhammer 40k universe. What's a good life? Blah blah, blah blah, blah blah, blah, angst, blah, angst. And she came back into the room, and the Emperor was sipping coffee from a gold cup. That was fast. He took another sip. There's no point in thinking. I'll take you up on the offer. I'm sorry for this. Don't call me my child. My name is Mal. Just Mal. The eye is widening in surprise at this authoritarian behavior. The Emperor was impressed.
Surprised at authoritarian behavior? You were surprised when your children weren't authoritarian.
Don't call me Mal. Sorry, don't call me my child. My name is Mal. How is that A, authoritarian, and B, aggressive? It's aggressive because she's not letting him walk all over her. Yeah, fucking this generation.
I'm
Goddamn.
pretty sure the Emperor would be quietly chuckling to himself. Oh, it's funny when they think they have a choice.
It's just oh god, this fucking generation, man.
Like, I
Aggressivity?
hate to be the one to say this, but pretty much the only choice you have in sticking the middle finger to the Emperor in 40k is joining Chaos.
Oh man, I'm actually irritated now. Like, that entire story did not irritate me, but until right at the end, where the author blatantly shows their millennialism and that they have no idea what aggressive behavior actually is.
Aggressive behavior would be screaming, Zinch, I want to serve you.
Alright, so how about some Fates Day Night D times D?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm glad you all agree.
Well,
Sneaky, Zinch is summoned on the Throne of Heroes.
He wouldn't be.
I know. But it's a funny shitpost. What do you mean I have to work for you?
surely he's a hero to someone.
I mean, to all of his cultists, he's a hero.
Fairy Tail Dragon Slayer is supposedly still complaining that his completely degenerate rule-breaking stories are getting deleted still.
Of course he is. He's an idiot who thinks because he's been around long enough the rules don't have to apply to him.
Yep. It's illegal to show my fanfiction on a public forum. No, it's not.
Without asking my permission. It's against fair use. Well, I mean, A, by making anything on fanfiction.net, you publicly give up all right to it.
Oh, God. I run a Let's Play channel, but I'm gonna tell someone covering my fanfiction on a free podcast is against fair use. Oh god, alright, let's get into this. Fates Day Night D times D. Swords of a False Devil. Are things truly as they seem in this old world? Characters. Capitalized letters Emiya. Issei. Chapters 6, words 17k. Prelude. Now remember, everyone, the prelude of any story is meant to be a massive hook that can be completely unrelated to anything the main story is going to be about. A good example of that is the prelude of the egg in Aragon.
Sorry, what? I just got back.
I'm talking about prologues and their use in writing.
How they should be a hook.
And how the entire chapter's premise is a hook. And while normally that should be chapter 1, but the advantage of using a prologue versus just chapter 1 is that a prologue doesn't have to be anything related to the main part of the story. It's gonna be it's gonna have plot points in it, of course, but it's not. You don't have to use the main character in the prologue. You don't have to use you don't have to set any part of the main storyline up in the prologue.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually a really good example of that is Robert Jordan, the guy who wrote Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Did you read any of them, Sneaky?
No, but one of my roommates was a huge, massive fan and wouldn't shut the fuck up about Wheel of Time. And how great it was.
I don't think it's worth that much scrolling, but he did, especially in the later books, get very good at using prologues to either show one of the bad guys' point of view, or even just a random person's point of view to try to bring a little bit of the
normality.
Yeah, a little bit of normal. Like, here's what the average Joe is going.
Yeah, like And I see the prologue idea get so misused in fan fiction, though, because everyone's like, oh, prologue, that's just like chapter 1, right? It's literally 9 paragraphs long, smaller if you exclude dialogue. Oh boy, that's good. We'll be over and done with this. A giant silver and dragon-like being looked out at something only he and his 2 companions could see in the swirling dimension called the Dimensional Gap. He turned to the great red dragon and a certain ancient dead apostle called Zelrich that loved trolling people. He snorted and spoke in a powerful voice that held great sarcasm. Do you 2 think I should do it? Zelrich smirked as he leaned forward in his chair that he had made in the library he had placed within the Dimensional Gap. I do believe it would be fun for them to learn the truth about their delusional former leaders. Okay, A. Literally everything but the Great Red and Ophis dissolve in the Dimensional Gap. Look, like, dissolve. Anything not powerful enough dissolves. I can believe Zelrich not dissolving. What I can't believe is a fucking chair not dissolving.
Or a library.
Yeah. The blah 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 blah. I do believe blah blah blah. Great Red also smirked his draconic smile and... Great Red also smirked his draconic smile.
Si, senor.
And said, I would like to see what the boy does with your powers and influence in the world of lies. The powerful silver dragon nodded, then let us get down to it then. The other 2 pooled their collective energies alongside those of the silver dragon and caused him to split into 2 identical identities equally as powerful as the original.
Sounds dumb.
One turned into a silver gauntlet with a gear on it, and the other turned into a twin pair of Chinese Dao on the back of the hand, and they were sent out of the Dimensional Gap into a baby that had just been conceived by the name of Yudo Issei. The other nodded his head, and to his 2 compatriots turned into a white-haired and silver-eyed man dressed in red and black, and he turned into a small portal that pointed. Do you think he can do it? Great Red asks. Zelrich responds, I have great faith in capitalized letters, Emiya, my friend. Yes, Emiya, the giant silver dragon equal in power to Zelrich and Great Red. Of course, I forgot about that bit of lore.
Course.
Great Red nodded. Good. With that, he started to do loop-de-loops like a great reptilian biker. Zelrich steepled his hands
I'm sorry,
together.
a great reptilian what?
Biker. Zelrich steepled his hands together and said, I wonder how things will turn out this time around. Woo! So glad this was a prologue, because I'm not fucking reading this story.
The prologue did its job of warning me away.
Alright, so time for a worm fic, I guess? Or we can go for some bleach somewhere.
How
Oh yeah, here we go.
about some bleach? We haven't touched bleach in a hot minute.
Yeah, you're right, and so that's why we're gonna have this story. This is, This is, Ooh! This is gonna be something. Bleach Rosario Vampire crossover. The humans strike back. Yokai and hollows alike call humans weak and defenseless. They say it's due to the fact that there are billions of them that they even manage to survive. This is humanity kindly requesting you say that a little bit louder. Shotgun cocking noises.
Yeah, that a fact?
Yep. Authorial inspiration author's note. I am a huge fan of Bleach and Rosario Vampire. One thing that always majorly irritated me was the plot holes. Monsters in Arrancar always carried this hybrid view of humans. Many of them even got idiotic ideas like trying to destroy a city to preemptively attack humanity. All one would have to do is look at any recent human war just to see how little of value a single human city is that isn't a country's capital. Yeah, that's why we nuked 2 of them.
Sneaky.
In World War II, over hundreds of cities became battlefields, and 2 in Japan at that were nuked off the map. For yokai to destroy a human city and honestly think they are striking a decisive blow, they would literally have to have no idea how widespread and diverse humans are. The most likely outcome of a city being destroyed by monsters is the aggravation of 7 billion nuclear-armed humans who have poisoned, tortured, and gunned down each other in the millions of years over petty things such as contradicting political views. What would those humans do to a non-human to have killed and attacked over hundreds of thousands of people unprovoked? Actually, in most cities, it's millions these days. Most monsters seem to understand this well enough, but somehow yokai keep gathering into anti-human groups to try for a second world war against humanity. Logically, if 2 or 3 billion average humans swinging claymores and shooting arrows fought and apparently stalemated with the likes of vampires, werewolves, and witches thousands of years ago, then 6 billion humans armed with nukes, firearms, and war machines that would entirely step on the yokai species like they were a joke. Despite this obvious power gap, monsters still continue to try picking a fight. I mean, there's also the proclivity for humans to enact genocide on things that threaten the living spaces. I'm looking at you, 385 species we've extinguished. Now, admittedly, not all of those were from genocide, but a fair number were. I mean, some of them from just cutting down the environments they lived in. And, paving a parking lot. Anyway, author's note continues. The second issue in that these fights are always determined by power ratings. Things such as flying, claws, and fighting skill are seen as handy tricks, but the person with the higher power level always wins. Author, are you about to reveal your power level? Anyone who's been actually in a real fight can see how faulty such logic is. The ultimate rule in fighting is that no matter how big or fast someone is, if the fighter is skilled enough, he will always come out on top. In anime, however, that rule is entirely ignored, as characters are quick to judge someone's fighting ability entirely on race and power level, and sadly are usually right. This applies especially to Bleach characters. This is sort of a big what-if scenario of what if humanity wasn't a bitch and actually shot back. So, first, author, usually they have quote-unquote power levels in anime. Well, yes, based on speed and strength, but, regeneration plays a big part of that. Like, the regeneration shown on some of the monsters in Rosario Vampire and Bleach and shit is actually, like, I'm going to ignore being shot by bullets levels.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly...
Or the bullets won't even affect, like they'll just ping off me like I'm fucking Superman.
Yeah. Which just means the humans will likely shoot with bigger bullets, because we do that. Or just, other things, such as missiles and bombs and napalm. Point being...
Yes, point being.
I don't know where I was going with that, honestly. I'm still mad about the
fucking
death
job
threat.
there, Sneaky.
I'm afraid of Claymore. Cut into mincemeat, instant regeneration at the highest levels. Yeah. Claymore was a good story. I liked it. 1900s, July 30th. Worldwide secret conference is called, requesting the attendance of every country designated as a superpower or a high amount of unnatural occurrences. Wait, 1900s? Were there even superpowers back then? No, I think the emergence of superpowers was post-World War One.
What do you mean? Like
the
global?
concept of superpowers.
No. It existed during colonization.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Britain was the superpower.
No, but
because they had colonies everywhere, and they had giant piles of money.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think the concept of superpower. I'm not saying they weren't superpowers. I'm just saying I don't think anyone called them superpowers until post World War One.
In that case, yes, I think you're correct. As Pedro points out, before then it was called an empire instead of a superpower.
Exactly, yeah.
Apparently they were called... Apparently another way to say it is great powers. According to this, the great powers of 1900 were the Austria-Hungary, British Empire, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, and the US.
I want to point that out again. Austria-Hungary. Boy, did that one go downhill quick.
Oh, poor Austria.
That lasted about 30 years.
Also, thank you, Lightwing. The subject is the presence of monsters that have caused damage and lost a human life, blah blah blah. Meeting was exposing the truth, and blah 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 blah. Subject of how to counteract it, blah blah. Open warfare. The Russians opted for compromise, blah 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 blah. Why was this surprising?
I'm sorry, in what universe have Russians ever opted for compromise? The Russians were so angry at being invaded, they starved millions of their own people to death just to make sure that a few thousand Germans didn't get to eat.
That they did.
And yes, Stalin is the one who ordered it, but a lot of people went along with that.
Just like, yeah, this is okay. No, guys, it's really not okay.
I'm further convinced that Russians are just actually personifications of humanity's spite, and that's why they keep over in the colder areas, because if it gets too warm, they melt.
Makes sense to me.
And these talks continued for another 10 years over petty details, blah blah blah. We're gonna make the XCOM of blah blah blah. XCOM gets founded, blah 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 blah.
Also, I have really bad news for you. There was kind of one Primarch already working on solving all the problems in 40k, and he commissioned a Magus specifically to do that. And he made the Primaris Space Marines. Which, for the record, I still think is dumb.
And how did that work out?
Well, we're only 2 books in. So far, it's working pretty good. part of the reason it's working so well is because Daddy gave Papa Smurf his big old demon smiting sword.
Oh, that would do it.
The one that even the fallen Primarchs go, I should not let that hit me.
1914. XCOM personnel go and fight monsters. Blah 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 blah. Team of vampires. Blah blah. Heavy casualties. They kill the vampire and they bring it back for study. Further XCOM missions are authorized. Yokai remain unaware they're being hunted. 1987. Wow, we're just gonna skip 70 fucking years. Okay, author.
You know, with how paranoid some of them are, I think they'd have caught on that they're being exterminated.
I know. I like how the author skips 70 years specifically so we can get past the part where the countries stopped working together and did World War I and II.
Yeah, that would kind of put a damper on things.
And the Cold War.
I mean, there's nothing technically stopping them from working together during the... Like, even Russia and America.
Oh, no.
Fuck
Not
you
more
then, I
of
guess.
this. 1987, an XCOM scientist discovers humans use only up to 10% of their brain.
Oh, this stupid thing.
And that it was possible to unlock usage up to 75%.
No, it isn't. If that was true, we would all be dribbling vegetables.
That rewires the brain using surgery. Really? 1987.
I mean, surgically altering the brain is possible.
Yeah, but that's more of a we're gonna cut shit and hope for the best. Not a we have an exact science that can be replicated on every single person that's guaranteed to make them 17 times smarter. I am still the representation of human spite. Oh, I appreciate your compliments. Blah 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 blah. The drawback is that the body cannot keep up with the brain's input. An apt comparison would be the most advanced CPU in an outdated computer. They have offended me on a biological science level. They have offended me on a technological level.
Yeah. Keep going.
We'll see how much more they can offend me by the end of this fucking chapter.
Oh boy.
It shouldn't be too hard.
No. A human who receives surgery like this would see minutes pass by like days. That's not how that works. At all. Even if you could theoretically overclock the human brain, you would still perceive time the same. Like, you know your brain can actually slow down how you perceive time, right? Like that's something it naturally does. You know that, right, author? Like
it doesn't actually affect anything, of course, but
well, yeah, of course, but like that's a thing it does. So it like the brain in high intense stress scenarios will slow down how you perceive time so you can react faster to things.
of course, given some of the theories of reality, it may in fact be that your brain is actively slowing time down.
Well, I mean, yeah. Giving some theories, quantum mechanics.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, depending on which model of reality you subscribe to. Also, I like that's become a common turn of phrase. We as human beings have reached the point where we're like, depending on which model of reality you subscribe to, like, you know what? I want to pay $59.99 for the one where I get to do what I please.
I want to be Dio now. Oh. But anyway, so point being is that they are so wrong, it's hilarious. Blah 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 Matrix, blah 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 blah. Entire biological science division, blah blah blah. 1998. Power armor is introduced, made SAS style. With
SAS?
It's the British Special Forces.
Oh.
Yeah. With plates of steel putty. These plates are as light as cardboard, but harden on impact. Okay, so reactive armor.
Yeah,
blah,
you
blah.
couldn't do that with steel, but man, can't.
It's built in with a HUD system to acknowledge humanoid motion from within 25 meters.
That would be an excessively distracting HUD.
Yes.
Like, do you
blah,
know how far
blah.
25 meters is, Author? That would be excessively like, civilians actively running out of your combat zone would trip that.
Yes. Friend and foe system, blah blah blah, power armor, XCOM.
Fun fact, did you know that we already have FOF systems, guys? They're not science fiction. We have them. Please stop pretending like they're an amazing thing. The military does have them.
Yeah, and they're okay.
I'm not standing here saying they're great, but they exist, and they do the job.
XCOM intrigued by the invention, buys suits, blah blah blah, commando team, turtle shell armor, killed some lizard men in Florida.
Oh please, lizard men are not the weirdest thing they'd find in Florida.
Blah blah blah, blah blah, yokai, blah blah blah, shocked by the fact that they can't injure the humans. They all die. Blah. Science yields new breakthrough in power armor. Using a system of pulleys and wires, the exoskeleton takes the strain off the human body.
Pulleys and wires?
While not inhibiting movement overly much.
Pulleys and wires. Yes, if it was that simple, I feel we may have already accomplished powered armor.
It can make any man into a super soldier, blah blah blah, XCOM.
No, those pulleys would need to be motorized for it to actually do anything.
Like, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, Iron Man, with the first Iron Man, like the first suit they make in Iron Man, is probably the most realistic depiction of power armor in modern media.
Oh, the Iron Tin Can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first suit.
Blah 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 blah. U.S. intends to make power armored soldiers wearing tank armor. Blah blah stealth suits. Blah blah.
Ah,
blah,
so glad we've started reading Fallout.
Blah blah blah. Blah blah exoskeletons. Blah 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 blah. 2000s. Human augmentation is finalized. Really? Interesting. Blah blah blah. XCOM. Yuri Boyka, James Wesker, and Veltro Soyjay. All veterans of fighting S-class monsters.
Really? We're putting fucking Wesker in?
Yes. And after 3 months of recovery, they find themselves to be 8
with
feet
what Wesker
tall.
does to himself, I think Wesker actually actively qualifies as a yokai.
Yes.
In addition to ignoring the square cube law, like every other fucking thing in
they're
that
8
damn
feet
game
tall
series.
and they can lift 7 tons.
Oh, good. I'm glad that Wesker kept his ability to ignore the square cube law.
Yes. An 8-man commando team went up against Wesker, and Wesker beat them all with contemptuous ease by just dodging the bullets. Because he was so fast.
No, he's not dodging the bullets. He's teleporting.
No, it looked more like he was teleporting.
I know it's a resident joke.
He palm thrusted several men to death. Blah blah blah.
So he thrusted several men to death.
Mm-hmm.
How good for you, Wesker.
Oh man, they created Space Marines, and then XCOM's like, hey, let's do this more, and so they did it more, and then they got reports of the Dracula, and
reports of the Dracula.
Yep. And so then they got a 3-man Space Marine team to assassinate Dracula. And
I'm sorry, what's next? Simon Belmont, hero of the Imperium. I'd actually, that might be kind of
Simon Belmont, hero of the Imperium, the new Primarch.
I mean, it's a terrible, idiotic shit post, which is exactly why I would read it.
I find this to be hilarious. So they were augmented with turtle shell armor, camo systems, laser knives, Uzis, M1911-2s.
What does that even mean?
Like, Variant 2 of the M1911 from World War II.
Ah, yeah.
Which we have, by the 2000s, far replaced.
But a
Uzis.
friendly reminder that the
Uzis.
M1911, in its basic format, has stuck around since World War I.
Yes. If you want an M1911 that's probably not going to blow up in your hand, you get the Colt Commando.
Yeah.
Because because they've changed their style since the 1911, but the Commando was specifically a modernized version of the 1911 in the same style.
Yeah.
Just, more stable and reliable and less likely to misfire and go off in your hand. But anyway, so they arm for the assassinations with Uzis. Not MP5s, not MP7s.
Not
Uzis.
P90s!
No, not P90s. Uzis. Guys, I played Counter-Strike like once. That's what this is. With Beretta 50 cal sniper rifles, and Veltro also had laser blades on his wrists, Assassin's Creed style. This operation was dubbed Operation Hell Space Sing.
Okay, I would like to point out the Uzi takes 9mm.
The Uzi's garbage.
At best, it takes 45 APC. Meanwhile, something like the P90 has 5.7, 28mm.
Which, fun fact, I think only Type 4 hard steel plate, which isn't even in production anymore, was the only armor that could prevent armor-piercing rounds of the 5.57 variety being shot from a P90.
Yeah.
Like, even Type 3 hard could not stop armor-piercing from a P90.
Anyway, I'm getting food because this is dumb.
Yeah, this is over. 2000s, November 3rd, XCOM adopted a Black Hawk helicopter, and it lands 3 clicks from Dracula's mansion and deploys the 3 Super Space Marines. And Dracula has a party going with a bunch of vampires, and the Space Marines have infiltrated the area. Operation Hell Spacing is a go. Author's note. For those who haven't read the manga of Rosario Vampire, Dracula was the king of vampires that hates humans. He later turns into a giant flying squid after the three Dark Lords kill in the defense of humanity, explicitly revives, eats Mocha's mom, and then dies again. In this version, however, he doesn't turn back into a horrible monster in the 12,000s and goes on a human genocide. He sits content that he's superior to any monster in his castle for 7,000 years. I'll get to the high school soon enough. Like, so that's a massive fucking change. That literally changes the entire political landscape of the yokai world. But the author, of course, isn't going to pay attention to that. And soon enough, XCOM is going to make their presence known in the monster world by assassinating Dracula. That's the next chapter. Is apparently what the fuck's his name? No,
I don't know.
Main characters from Rosario Vampire's name. Him going to the yokai. Sukune, yes. Him going to the monster.
We really need to clean up these fucking voice channels.
Why?
Get tired of accidentally clicking at the damn things because they're so close to the fucking text channels.
Anyway, so that's actually it. That's the chapter. That is the chapter, and
Can that be the stream?
So we've got 10 minutes left. Anything we want to talk about in particular then? Did we ever talk about Genlock? Yeah, we talked about Genlock.
We did. We all agreed. Great, fun, good show.
Do you want to say anything about Vic Mignogna? Not
really. I'll wait to see how it all pans out at the end.
That's fair enough.
I mean, I always take this stance. I don't make any judgment calls until things are actually like, hey, look, the case is done. The trial's over. This is the final result.
I mean, if anything, I'm not going to defend whether he's innocent or guilty. I just don't think Funimation should have dropped him. I don't think Rooster Teeth should have kicked him out. Like, once the trial ends, maybe put him on suspension, pending trial or something. But they just outright fired him. Which is obviously putting him as guilty before innocent. So I'm kind of not cool with that. No, we're not talking about the hyper protocol part, Isley. That's going to be on Jorp's stream. This is specifically anime oriented crap right now, which is Vic Mignogna is related to. Yeah, I don't have much else to say. Subscribe to PewDiePie, my lads. We'll see you next Friday for this podcast, but I may be streaming Sekiro, City Skylines, Frostpunk, and etc. in the meantime. It just really depends on how motivated I am that day to do something. But yeah, so 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but with the daylight savings now enacted because it's spring, even though there's 2 feet of snow outside my home. Every Tuesday and Friday. So if that's going to be all, we will see you all next time, because remember, there is always more and it always gets worse.